Let me recognize the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Estes, to strike the last word.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before the COVID-19 panic, our economy had taken off thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and pro-growth policies that valued work and entrepreneurship. That's because Republicans in Congress focus our efforts on making sure that those who start a business on their kitchen table can work hard and take that company to Main Street. The result was the lowest unemployment in 50 years, with more people finding jobs in America than any time in our history. But today we're marking up a 900-page plus tax bill with around $3 trillion in tax hikes and new loopholes geared at paying for this massive government expansion. The New York Times promoted the enormous impact that this legislation will have on the country by saying it would touch virtually every American at every point in life from conception to old age. Instead of focusing on getting the economy growing, Democrats have prioritized a grab bag of socialist policies that require massive tax hikes. One recent study from the Tax Foundation found that all of President Biden's proposed $6 trillion spending bill will shrink the economy by an entire percent over the next decade. Democrats seem to forget that just because a bill spends money doesn't make it a good investment. Washington, after all, has a lousy track record of making good investments with taxpayer dollars. As we finish marking up this massive tax hike, I fear that many small businesses who have fought so hard to stay afloat while battling large companies that had an easier time bearing the burdens of the shutdown will ultimately fail under the tax and regulatory regime of the Biden administration. The Joint Committee on Taxation has found that 2/3 of President Biden's corporate tax hike will be felt by middle-income taxpayers, including the small businesses that file taxes as individuals. The Joint Committee on Taxation estimated it will lower federal revenues by around $1.2 trillion over the next decade. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017 did the opposite by increasing federal revenue through expanded economic activity. And Democrats' so-called good investments only get worse when you dig more into the details of the tax hikes and giveaways. The Green New Deal programs within the bill will make families across the U.S. pay more in taxes so that millionaires in California can ride off that new Tesla. As we emerge from the pandemic, our focus needs to be on rebuilding the economy in a way we know works. This begins by removing hurdles to new business formation and implementing policies that allow our small businesses to grow. Instead, Democrats are doubling down on the radical expansion of government through Green New Deal policies, subsidized health care, and a weaponized IRS. Make no mistake, this unprecedented expansion of Washington will come at the expense of working families and small businesses. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.